Come with us to Boston, Massachusetts. We'll show you where to get the best photo ops, see some iconic places and architecture. We will go to the Boston Harbor where we throw tea overboard. We'll tell you all about the Freedom Trail and all the stops along the way and take you to the oldest restaurant with the best lobster roll. We'll check out the most beautiful street in Boston and take you to a place where everybody knows your name. Any Friends fans out there? Let's go.
Welcome to VO's Travel. Where to go and what to see with kids.
Boston, Massachusetts is on the East Coast along the Atlantic Ocean, right in between New Hampshire and Rhode Island. I usually don't start off by telling you where to stay, but we stayed in an excellent location and I highly recommend it. It's the Fairmont Copley Plaza and it is a AAA 4-diamond resort. It is a very old historic building with beautiful rooms. Just the little touches everywhere really made it special. You could tell that it was an old, quaint building that they really made beautiful. One really cool thing about the Fairmont Copley is that there is a black lab that lives in the lobby. It comes to work every day with one of the employees and leaves every night. It is the sweetest dog and it even has its own Instagram page. The lobby is simply beautiful as you can see here, and they do have a restaurant that is open day and night, and it is where I had my first bowl of clam chowder. One thing you have to do when in Boston is go to Jaho. It is a Boston area coffee shop. There's about 3 or 4 to choose from. The one on Washington Avenue was just a couple minutes walk from our hotel, and it was a great place to grab breakfast. I got an oatmeal cookie latte with a smoked salmon bagel sandwich. It was delicious. Another place you need to visit is the Boston Public Library. It was also very close to our hotel and Jaho, and it is a beautiful building. The Boston Public Library was the first free municipal public library in the United States and actually the first library to start lending books. It is a masterpiece just walking around, absolutely stunning. You might recognize this room from a couple movies. The building is simply stunning. Make sure you check out the courtyard too. We probably spent an hour walking around and checking out the different murals and rooms. And one thing to note, if you love tea, they do offer a high tea in one of the rooms in the library. Next on our list was an Uber over to the Boston Tea Party and Ships, and boy, was this worth it. Tickets are $34 to $37, and you do have to buy them beforehand, so make sure you make your reservations. They are open from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., and you're there for about an hour, maybe an hour and a half. Your tour includes a live-action recreation of the events that happened during the Boston Tea Party, and you actually get to throw over tea. It was so much fun. When you're done with the tour and the museum below, which I was not able to shoot in, make your way to Abigail's Tea Room where you can actually try the 5 different teas that were thrown over during the Boston Tea Party. The cup does cost $4, but you can have unlimited refills. And make sure to check out the gift shop. There was lots to choose from and lots of different teas you could purchase as well. After that, we took about a 15-minute walk to Boston Common, and that is where you will find the start of the Freedom Trail. You have to do the Freedom Trail when in Boston. If you only do one thing, that's it. For those that don't know, the Freedom Trail is a 2.5-mile walking route through the city of Boston that takes you to 16 historical places. It includes museums, churches, meeting houses, and some cemeteries. You can purchase a walking tour, but it's very easy to do on your own. To do it on your own, you will head to the Boston Common Visitors Center where you can pick up a map and guide for only $3. This guide includes a map and also tells you each of the 16 locations that you will be visiting and a little historical information about each of those. Just a side note, there are a ton of Passport to Your National Park stamps along the route. Just make sure to bring your book because I totally forgot mine. The Freedom Trail is really easy to follow. It is literally a red brick path that takes you through the entire route. You cannot get lost. If you wanted to do this quickly, you could probably spend about an hour walking the entire path, or you could take the entire day and make each stop worth it. My friend and I spent about 5 hours walking the Freedom Trail, but we took plenty of liberties to stop for photo ops, grab an amazing lunch. We got matching tattoos and even stopped for a cannoli and espresso. I will be putting together another video in the next few days, more specifically about our day-and-a-half itinerary in Boston and each step of the Freedom Trail along the way with a lot more details and information if you're interested in looking for that. Now back to the Freedom Trail and all the stops. Number 1 is Boston Common, America's oldest park. Number 2 is the Massachusetts Statehouse. Number 3 is Park Street Church, where My Country 'Tis of Thee was first sung on the steps. Number 4 is the Granary Burying Ground, where you will find the graves of John Hancock, Samuel Adams, the Boston Massacre victims, and Paul Revere. Number 5 is King's Chapel. Number 6 is the Boston Latin School site and the Benjamin Franklin statue. Number 7 is the Old Corner Bookstore, which is now unfortunately a Chipotle. Stop number 8 is the Old South Meeting House. Number 9 is the Old State House Museum, where we were serenaded by this guy. Number 10 is the site of the Boston Massacre. Stop number 11 is Faneuil Hall. Stop number 12 is Paul Revere's house, and number 13 is the Old North Church. Does 1 if by land, 2 if by sea ring a bell? Yep, that's where the lanterns were hung. Stop number 14 is Copp's Hill Burying Ground. Number 15 is the USS Constitution Old Ironsides, and number 16, the last one, is Bunker Hill Monument. Okay, enough about the Freedom Trail and on to photo ops and food. The coolest photo op we found was this Boston sign at One City Hall Square. And if you go to one restaurant in all of Boston, you have to go to the Union Oyster House. It is the oldest restaurant in America. It is in the coolest, most quaint building. The ceilings are low, the doorways are small. It has been around for centuries and has the best lobster roll in all of Boston. They also have fresh oysters, which my friend really enjoyed, along with a bunch of other food and drinks. You can sit indoors or outside, and it was a beautiful day, so we decided to sit outside, and we are so glad we did. It is a beautiful place to sit and people watch, and it is in a very beautiful part of town. That lobster roll was $45, but worth every single bite. It comes with a side and coleslaw, and it was amazing. The Oyster House is there on the right-hand side, but that building on the left-hand side is the oldest tavern in America. Its first pour was in 1795 and has been operating since. It's called the Bell in Hand and is a really cool place. Now, heading north a little bit, the north end of downtown Boston is called the North End, and it is everything Italian. There are quaint Italian restaurants everywhere. It would be completely normal to walk by little old cute men speaking Italian on the street. There's homemade pasta shops, pastries everywhere. It truly feels like you were in the heart of a small Italian village. On that note, cannolis are a big deal in Boston. Then there are a few places to get them. One of them is Mike's Pastry, and this is the inside of it. There are a ton of different cannolis to choose from, and I hear they're quite delicious. There's oftentimes lines out the door. But the pastry shop that we chose to go with, and we were so impressed, was Modern Pastry Shop. Their shop was a lot more quaint and homey feeling than the other, and they have a lot more options besides just cannolis. They have a small seated area where they do have servers come over. They also offer coffee drinks and espresso, which go great with cannolis. I chose a build your own cannoli. I had a normal shell dipped in chocolate. I had a traditional ricotta filling, and the ends were dipped in sliced almonds. That dipped in espresso was heaven. I'm not sure if you can tell yet by this video, but I did not take my family and kids on this trip. This was a girls' trip with my best friend of 30 years, and we had a blast. So this might not be something that you do with your kids if they are on this trip with you, but my best friend and I went and got tattoos at Boston Barber and Tattoo Shop. We chose Juan, and he did an excellent job. I would highly recommend him anytime. Okay, back to more family-friendly things. When we were done in the North End, we took an Uber back towards our hotel and stopped at Acorn Street, one of the most beautiful streets in America and the most beautiful street in all of Boston. It is a residential area, so please be quiet and respectful while you visit. After Acorn Street, it was getting close to dinner time, so we took a 10 to 15 minute walk to Cheers. This is the bar that inspired the TV show Cheers, and it lives up to its name. It is a great, quaint little place. There is a lot of seating in the back if you can't find anything in the main dining room, and this is what that back room looks like. We almost sat at that bar, but we decided to give the front room another chance, and wouldn't you know it, there was 2 people getting up from the main bar, and we sat down. Luckily, at the one spot that you want in all of Cheers. We accidentally sat at Norm's spot. This is the corner of the bar, and evidently everybody that goes to Cheers wants to sit in Norm's spot. A couple things to note: Monday through Friday, appetizers are half price between 4 and 6 p.m. Make sure you go to the back where you can get a name tag so everybody does know your name, and children are welcome until 10 p.m. every single night. Another 5 to 10 minute walk through the cute, quaint streets of Boston led us to L.A. Burdick Chocolates. Oh my word, if you are a chocolate fan, you have to stop here. We stopped here for a little nightcap. Their hot chocolate was absolutely amazing. I prefer the dark chocolate, and you really don't need much. It is so good. And before heading back to our hotel, we made one last stop at Central Perk. Any Friend fans out there? Do you recognize the orange couch? Unfortunately, the coffee shop was not open for business yet, but they had this fun little seating area out front, and we got to check it out and kind of peek through the windows. Let me know what you think if you do get a chance to really check it out. That was it for Boston, but the next day we headed to Salem, Massachusetts, the one town in all of America that you want to be at for Halloween. They are known for their Salem witch trials, and they have all kinds of Hocus Pocus film locations there too. I do have another video specifically about the Hocus Pocus film locations and another one about what to do and where to go when you are in Salem. I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, I hope that you remember to choose joy and take all of the pictures.